Hello, today I'm going to do a mixed media page in my art journal. This is a Prima art journal, and just find the first blank page. I love this journal because it's ring bound and you can find the page and fold it over and work on the one page. I wanted to use my stamps. These are new stamps that I got a few weeks ago from Paper, Pen and Plan. They are Tandy Art Fairy Tale Volume 5. So this is the first time that I've had a play with them. I have already stamped a few out and coloured them with my watercolours, and I've had to play around already for placement, and I think I need a few more trees. So I'm going to stamp that out and colour it, and I'm going to use this Daler Rowney from Hobbycraft. It's mixed media paper, but it's great for watercolour. And I've just got an odd piece here and my VersaFine Onyx Black ink pad. So I just want to stamp out the trees. I might not use all the trees, I might just use part of the stamp once I look at the layout. I'll see which trees are good firm push. There we are. So just put that on there and out the way. I don't need that either. So I have some water and a few brushes, and the paints I'm going to use today are these Prima Vintage Pastels. I quite liked this set because the colours are quite muted, and I thought that went well with the images. These are the colours that you get. It's a well used little set, and I'm just going to fish out the trees so that I do them roughly the same colours as I did before. So these images are quite whimsical, so I haven't made the colours all that realistic. Although it's a sort of greeny tree, I've given it pink bits, pink highlights, just to add to the whimsical feel. I'll just spray that. We'll use this bigger brush, I think, and we'll start off with some of this green. I always try it a little bit on the spare piece of card. I'm going to be fussy cutting this anyway, so I don't need to be too concerned about the edges. And I think I'm only going to use these two trees. I'm not going to bother with the flowers or the other square tree. So we'll just add a little tone, give it a watercolour feel. Maybe some of the mauve down the edge there, and the grey. Go down there. and maybe a little bit of the grey to darken the tree, add a little bit of shade. A bit too much water there. If you want to pick up, just use a little bit of a dry brush. And I've also used these Ecoline. These are water-based markers, and these just add the pop of colour on the tree. And you can see that these are much brighter and juicier marker pens than the normal ones. They're really nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of pink. They can be used just like paints. Just put a little bit down on your glass mat or a plate or anything plastic that you've got that can hold a little bit of the marker and the paint. And we're also going to add a little bit of the green down the side there, maybe. It doesn't need to be an exact match to this tree. We're just playing around with the paints, trying to get the muted colour. And we'll maybe add a little bit of the green. To there as well. And I think a little bit of the darker grey. Just to add a little bit of texture there. We'll just add a bit direct on. And smoosh it a bit in. Not too much or you'll just lose that side bit, that shadow. Yeah, and I think that'll do for the colouring of the trees. They're a slightly different shade. They're a little bit brighter than the other trees, but that's okay. They're not going to be next to each other on the page, I don't think, but it doesn't matter anyway, because it still all blends in. So I'll just put the paints away, because that's everything coloured for now. So we'll use them again on the background and just dry off the brushes, and let's move the water out the way. So I have these already fussy cut. I'll just let that dry a little bit and we'll fussy cut that. In the meantime, we'll have a play around with the page before we do the background and see how we might do this. I think I want the girl, because she's looking up this way, I want her over here so that she can be looking at something. And you can see this is one stamp, but I didn't want to have these white bits in between the branches, so I just cut them out separately, but they'll be getting overlapped anyway, so that they can sit like that. And I also cut out this house from here because I didn't want these two pieces to look exactly the same, and I thought I'll just cut the house off and I can have two houses in that one, and this one can just be hills. And that's maybe what we'll do. And we'll maybe put the other tree over here. Yeah. So we'll fussy cut this. It's nearly dry. It's dry enough. Scissors. And we'll just usually when I'm fussy cutting for a card, I would leave a border round, a white border round the fussy cut image if it was going on a card. But for this, I don't know, I always just prefer to cut right up to the black line, because I think then it blends into the page better, I think. I'm not an expert, but that's what's in my head. That's what we'll do. These are nice and easy to cut out, these trees. Just one last bit. And there we are. So let's think. We're going to put those trees there, maybe, with maybe those trees there in front. Yeah. So I want the background to be quite muted as well, so I've picked out a few things for the background. I've got some washi, and I've got some decoupage paper, tissue paper, which I'm going to cut pieces off and stick down, and then we'll see how that looks after that. So we'll just move these out the way. And we will give ourselves some space to move the book up there just now. And let's see, I don't really want any of these big images. I just want some type, some writing. So we'll just tear this bit. Little bit's okay. So we'll maybe put that there, and I think that might do from that. I also have a piece. This is the actual paper that matches sort of the stamp set. It's the same make. It's ABStudios. And I have a spare piece from a previous project. These are beautiful, aren't they? Oh, need to do something with that soon. So we've got this, and this, and also, where did my ruler go? It's here. Let's move the stamps out the way. Give us room. There we are. So maybe a piece of this great. There. I think that'll do for that. And we will add some washi, but we'll get this stuck down, and I'll dry it off and I'll see you in a minute. So that's it all stuck down. The background piece of decoupage tissue paper, some of the ABStudios patterned paper, and a few pieces of this washi tape. So what I want to do now is add a layer of transparent gesso, so that when I add my watercolours, it'll be nice and they'll run all, hopefully, fingers crossed. And this will also help to stick down all these layers. And after this layer of clear transparent gesso, I'm going to add some white gesso just in certain bits to pull the background together, and hopefully that will give it a nice texture and a nice feel and join up all these pieces that I have. So that's a nice layer of clear gesso down. This is the one here that I'm using, and this is the white gesso. So we'll just get a few pieces of that. Oh, that's a piece of the bit from before that's hardened on the lid. So just use your fingers as well, and then you won't perhaps get the brush marks. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to dry the clear before you put the white on, but my guess is it's all gesso and it doesn't really matter whether the bottom layer's dry, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it seems to work. So just maybe round some of the edges. We're going to be adding a wee bit colour anyway, so we're just getting some nice I think that looks okay. So we'll put that over there, and if we're done with that, we'll put that there to be washed, and that looks pretty good. Quite pleased with that. So before I add any more colour, just have a wee play and see. Yeah, I think they're going to look pretty smart. How does she look? Yeah. So I'm going to dry my gesso with my heat gun, and I'll see you in a minute. So I'm back. I've dried the gesso and I have gotten my watercolours back out, and we will add some colour to the background. So I'm just going to spray the background, get the water out again. And the paints, can we see all that okay? I think we can. Yeah, let's give that edge a little spray. And we will add some terracotta first, because it's quite pale. We'll see how that goes. Can we see this okay? Okay, and maybe try some of the darker grey. Okay, that looks all right. And we'll start from the other end. Spray the water. And same again, some of the terracotta. And some of the grey. We'll add some more of the grey on this side. Now, I think we maybe want to brighten it up a little bit and pull out some of the pink. So we'll be brave and we'll add some pink. Wow. Maybe we should dry this first, or else we'll just end up with a big muddy picture. Okay, maybe dry enough. What do we think? Maybe round the top. And maybe round the bottom. In that corner. Yes, the pink is working. Splodge there and a splodge there. Get some more. I think maybe I'll go and dry that, and then I'll add some of the green. And I see there's a little bit of yellow on the paper as well, so we might add one of the yellows. But I'll dry this off camera first because it is quite noisy. So that's that layer nice and dry, and I'm going to add some of the yellowy orange colour, and we'll just give it another little squirt. Just in a few places. I think that's probably enough. Right, so I'll give that a dry and then we'll get the images on and see how that looks. Okay, so we're nice and dry, and it's time to put on these stamped images, and we'll just play around and see where we want them. Maybe more in the centre. These ones here. Nope. Move them over a wee bit. They're in there, I think. Yes, I think that will do the trick, and I'm going to use this all-purpose high-tack glue to get them stuck down. So I'll stick them down and I'll be back in a minute. So that's them stuck down. This glue didn't work, it wasn't taken. I don't know whether it's because it was on top of something watercoloured or I don't know, so I had to use this glue, and that seems to have done the trick, so I'll just keep that in mind for the next time. So I just want to add some finishing touches now, a little bit of a shadow around the edges and maybe some dark lines right round the edge, and a few words for a little bit of a story. So we're just going to give some shadows. Let's see. This is an Inktense pencil. It's dark brown. And I'm just going to go around the edges and at the bottom of where the ground might be with a little bit of water just to give that some depth and some ground so that the trees and the buildings aren't floating in the air. We could have those ones. Nothing precise, still trying to keep it kind of loose. You can see the difference that makes. We'll give this little cutie a little shadow as well. And over here. And still a little bit of water on the brush makes the watercolour pencil work. And because we have gesso underneath, it makes it go on nicely. There we are. And just a little bit up here. In the dark forest. Beside the spooky trees with the pink leaves. I wonder what made the leaves pink. Okay, so I think that's enough of that. Yeah. So what will we do next? We'll add a few words. I have these sheets here. I think they are Tim Holtz. I don't have the packaging, but I think they were. And I've picked out the first step in a journey. I think it's quite nice. And this one, a strange and wonderful place, because that's what it is. A strange and wonderful place. Now, which one will we put down first? Put first step in a journey. I think we might have to put some glue on that. A strange and wonderful place. Yeah, we're going to need glue on this. And we know that we need to use this one. That's better. And a little bit on this one. I think because it's maybe not entirely dry. I'm not sure, but anyway, for whatever reason, I'm not sticking. Just wipe that glue off there. Okay, the first step in a journey, a strange and wonderful place. And I think also we'll add a little bit of shadow to that as well. There we are. Yeah. So I think maybe that just leaves now some pen around the edge. Maybe just a line round. So I think we'll take it out the book so that I've got a nice flat edge. And I'm going to have a little practice first. See how this pen works. Yeah. Yes, that's probably okay. I'll just go for it. And yeah. And up. And down there. Gives it a little frame. Now, will we go round a second time? Make it squiggly? I think we will. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. Yes, quite pleased with that. The first step in a journey, a strange and wonderful place. So, there we are, and I'll just let you know that it was this stamp set here, Tandy Art, from ABStudios, and I'll put a link to Paper, Pen and Plan in the comments underneath, or in the bit where you would put information about the video. And that's us for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.